The man shoved a 2,000-degree molten chunk into his arm. 3 5-centimeter steel nails were driven into his body. He even fixed a 10-centimeter thick iron ring around his neck. A 2-meter long iron chain tightened around his neck. As the feeling of suffocation intensified, his whole body gradually turned purple, and his skin became covered in a virus. This was his only chance for survival, and the ultimate test for Ikoma's desperation. It all started not long ago, during the Industrial Revolution, when the Kabane zombies suddenly appeared. They had tough bodies, their hearts were wrapped in steel, and ordinary people could not kill them. Once bitten, within minutes, a person would turn into one of them, and the infection would spread rapidly, plunging the world into a zombie crisis. To fight the Kabane, humans built shelters everywhere, surrounded by high walls, and armored steam locomotives were the only means of transport. When a shelter was breached, people would escape to the next shelter by train, but the trains were not safe either. The Kabane would tear at people through any gaps, and if bitten, the only solution was to use explosives to kill oneself. And even when reaching the next shelter, a full body check would be required to ensure there were no wounds. Ikoma was a train mechanic. He had been researching weapons capable of piercing the hearts of the Kabane, but every experiment had failed. One day, the previous shelter was overrun. The armored steam locomotive entered the danger zone early, and the shelter where Ikoma lived was also caught in the attack. According to protocol, everyone was required to undergo inspection. At that moment, a man suddenly ran out. The soldiers surrounded him, thinking he had been bitten, and as they prepared to shoot, Ikoma rushed out, claiming that infected individuals should be isolated for 3 days. Before he could finish speaking, Ikoma was pushed and beaten, and when the stone in Ikoma's arms fell, they realized he had been secretly hiding dangerous items. Gunshots rang out, the fleeing man fell, and Ikoma was detained for possessing prohibited items. However, the crisis was far from over. When the armored steam locomotive arrived on time, and the workers preparing to drop the drawbridge, saw the Kabane pouring in from all directions, they didn't have time to save anyone. The shelter was broken through, explosions erupted, the Kabane attacked furiously, tearing and biting every resident. In the chaos, Ikoma used an iron needle to open his cell door, rushing to his home, where he grabbed his modified firearm, nervously staring at the door, when the Kabane charged into the room. With all his strength, Ikoma aimed the gun at the Kabane's heart, and when the Kabane's heart was pierced, Ikoma's efforts were finally rewarded. However, just as he felt victorious, blood suddenly poured from his right hand. He had been bitten by the Kabane.